Imagine standing in a room full of people, yet feeling completely invisible, your ideas unheard, your thoughts ignored, and your presence unnoticed. Or picture yourself in a heated argument, where every word makes things worse instead of better. Now, think about the opposite. You walk into a room, speak with confidence, connect effortlessly, and leave a lasting impression. The difference between these two scenarios lies in one skill: communication. This book is your guide to mastering the art of effective communication, whether you want to build stronger relationships, excel in your career, resolve conflicts, or simply feel understood. You'll learn practical tools and strategies that anyone can apply, regardless of experience or personality type. Communication isn't just about talking, it's about connecting, listening, and creating an impact. By the end of this journey, you won't just learn how to speak, you'll learn how to be heard, valued, and remembered. Let's begin. Learn to communicate. Published by Audiobooks HUB. Support our channel with a like and subscribe. Your support means the world to us. And now, let's get started. The lost art of communication. Have you ever stood in a room full of people yet felt completely invisible? Or maybe you've struggled to express yourself clearly, only to be misunderstood or ignored. In today's fast-paced, digital world, real communication, genuine human connection, has become a rare skill. Here's the good news: effective communication is not a gift you're born with. It's a skill you can learn, develop, and master. Whether you want to improve your relationships, advance your career, or simply make new friends, learning to communicate well is the key to unlocking a better version of your life. Why communication matters. Communication is more than just words. It's about expressing ideas, understanding others, building trust, and creating meaningful connections. People who communicate well are seen as confident, trustworthy, and likable. They stand out in their personal lives, at work, and in society. Think about the world's greatest leaders, entrepreneurs, or artists. What do they have in common? They all know how to connect with others through their words and presence. What you'll learn in this book. This book is your guide to mastering the art of communication. In each chapter, you'll discover practical tips, exercises, and proven techniques to speak with confidence and clarity. Listen actively and understand others better. Start conversations effortlessly and keep them engaging. Overcome communication barriers like shyness, fear, and self-doubt. Build trust, influence, and deeper connections with anyone you meet. Each chapter focuses on a key aspect of communication, starting with the basics and moving toward advanced techniques. By the end, you'll not only communicate better but also feel more confident, understood, and connected to the people around you. Who is this book for? Whether you're an introvert looking to come out of your shell, a professional wanting to improve workplace interactions, or someone who simply wants to have better conversations, this book is for you. If you follow the advice and practice the techniques shared in the coming chapters, you'll see results almost immediately. Imagine being able to enter any social setting without anxiety. Speak your mind clearly without fear of judgment. Build relationships that matter and last. It all starts with one decision: to learn the art of communication. The foundations of great communication. Effective communication is built on a strong foundation. Without understanding the basic principles, even the most charismatic person can struggle to connect with others. Before we dive into advanced techniques, let's first explore the essential building blocks of communication. Understanding what communication really is. At its core, communication is the exchange of ideas, thoughts, or feelings between people. However, it's not just about speaking, it's about ensuring that your message is understood. Communication has two key components: speaking or expressing yourself clearly, listening and understanding others. If one of these components fails, communication breaks down. Think of it as a bridge between two people. If the bridge has gaps, the connection collapses. Key insight: communication is a two-way street. If you're only focused on talking, you're not truly connecting. The 3 pillars of effective communication. Mastering communication means excelling in 3 key areas. Verbal communication, your words. What you say matters. Words carry meaning and intention. Speaking clearly, choosing the right words, and organizing your thoughts can make your message powerful. Example: instead of saying, "I think this might work," say, "I'm confident this solution will work because." Nonverbal communication, your body language. People believe your body more than your words. If you say you're excited but look disinterested, others will trust your body language over your speech. Quick tip: practice open body language. Avoid crossing your arms, make eye contact, and smile when appropriate. Active listening, understanding others. Most people listen to reply, not to understand. Active listening means giving your full attention to the speaker, understanding their message, and responding thoughtfully. Exercise: the next time you're in a conversation, challenge yourself to maintain eye contact. Paraphrase what the other person says, e.g., "So you're saying." Ask follow-up questions to show you're interested. Identifying common communication barriers. If you struggle to communicate, you're not alone. Most people face at least one of the following barriers. Fear of judgment, worrying about how others will perceive you can hold you back. Solution: focus on the message, not the fear. Remember, people care less about small mistakes than you think. Lack of confidence, feeling unsure of what to say can make you stumble. Solution: prepare ahead for conversations. Practice speaking in front of a mirror or with a trusted friend. Poor listening skills, interrupting, multitasking, or daydreaming during conversations weakens your connections. Solution: treat every conversation as an opportunity to learn. Stay curious and engaged. Negative body language, closed-off body language, like avoiding eye contact, sends the wrong message. Solution: relax, keep your posture open, and smile. It signals warmth and confidence. Building awareness of yourself and others. To communicate effectively, you need to develop self-awareness, understanding yourself, and social awareness, understanding others. Self-awareness: know your strengths, weaknesses, and triggers. Reflect on how you come across during conversations. Are you clear? Are you approachable? Social awareness: pay attention to others' reactions. Do they seem engaged or bored? Are they confused? Learning to read people's cues helps you adapt and connect better. Practical exercise. Reflect on a recent conversation where communication felt off. What went wrong? Were you listening actively? Did your words align with your body language? Write down 3 areas where you'd like to improve, e.g., I want to speak with more confidence or I want to listen more actively. The first step, be present. The most powerful communicators are fully present in every conversation. This means putting away distractions, like your phone. Listening without planning your reply too early. Making the other person feel heard and valued. Starting conversations with ease. How often have you wanted to talk to someone but didn't know how to start? Maybe you see an interesting person at a party or a professional you admire at a networking event, but instead of speaking up, you freeze or walk away. Starting a conversation doesn't have to feel like climbing a mountain. The key is to understand that people, like you, want to connect, they just don't always know how. Let's break it down step by step so that starting conversations becomes natural, not nerve-wracking. Shift your focus from yourself to others. The biggest reason people struggle to start conversations is overthinking. What if I sound stupid? What if they don't like me? What if I run out of things to say? Here's the truth, most people aren't judging you. They're too busy thinking about themselves. When you stop focusing on how you'll be perceived and start focusing on the other person, conversation becomes easier. Mindset shift. Instead of worrying about how you'll perform, think, how can I make this person's day better? What can I learn about this person? When you approach conversations with genuine curiosity, you naturally relax, and others will sense your openness. Use the power of simple openers. You don't need a perfect, witty line to start a conversation. A simple, friendly comment works wonders. Here are a few go-to openers you can use in any situation. Comment on your surroundings. This event is amazing, don't you think? The coffee here is great. Have you been here before? Ask for their opinion. I'm trying to decide which book to buy. Have you read any good ones lately? What's your take on today's speaker? Give a sincere compliment. I really like your jacket. Where did you get it? You seem really confident up there. How do you do it? Ask an open-ended question. What brings you here today? How do you know the host? The key is to keep it natural and relevant to the context. Break the ice with humor, if it feels right. Humor is one of the best ways to dissolve tension and make people feel comfortable, but it doesn't have to be over the top. A light-hearted comment about the situation often works perfectly. Examples. If you're at a long line for coffee, looks like we all had the same caffeine emergency today. If it's raining at an outdoor event, I guess this weather didn't get the invitation. Even if it's simple, humor creates a positive tone and makes you approachable. Just avoid sarcasm or jokes at someone else's expense. The art of asking great questions. Once you've opened the conversation, keep it going with engaging questions. Most people love to talk about themselves, so asking thoughtful questions helps you both feel connected. Here are a few categories of questions to get you started. Situational questions. Relate to what's happening around you. How did you hear about this event? Isn't the food here great? Have you tried anything yet? Personal insight questions. Go a little deeper to show interest. What do you enjoy most about your work? What's something exciting you're working on right now? Positive reflection questions. Encourage people to share meaningful thoughts. What's the best part of your day so far? What's something you're passionate about? The secret is to be genuinely curious and give them room to talk. People enjoy conversations where they feel heard. Listen, really listen. Starting a conversation is just the first step. What happens next matters just as much. Listening is the bridge that turns small talk into meaningful interaction. Here's how to show you're actively listening. Make eye contact. It signals attention and interest. Respond with small cues. Nodding, smiling, and saying things like, "That's interesting," or "Tell me more" keeps the conversation flowing. Avoid distractions. Don't glance at your phone or let your eyes wander. Stay focused. Quick exercise. The next time someone talks to you, practice listening without interrupting. Let them finish their thought before you respond. What if you don't know what to say next? Running out of things to say is one of the biggest fears people have, but it's easier to overcome than you think. Here's what to do. Reflect and respond. Repeat back something they've said and build on it. I just got back from a trip to Italy. Italy sounds amazing. What was the highlight of your trip? Share a related story or thought. Conversations are about give and take. If they'd shared something, it's okay to add your experience. That reminds me of when I visited Spain. The food was incredible too. Ask another question. If in doubt, ask a question that takes the conversation deeper. I'd love to travel more. Do you have any tips for planning a great trip? Remember, people rarely notice pauses as much as you do. Relax, and don't be afraid of a little silence. Practice makes perfect. Like any skill, starting conversations gets easier the more you practice. Challenge yourself to start a conversation with someone every day, whether it's a coworker, a neighbor, or even a stranger at the grocery store. Practical challenge. This week, use one of the simple openers from this chapter in a real conversation. Notice how the other person responds. Making conversations engaging and memorable. Starting a conversation is only half the battle. What truly matters is how you keep that conversation alive and make it memorable. The most engaging conversations leave people feeling energized, connected, and eager to speak with you again. This skill isn't about being the most entertaining person in the room. It's about making the other person feel valued, heard, and understood. Here's how to turn any conversation into a meaningful and engaging exchange. Show genuine interest. People can sense when you're not truly engaged. If you're distracted or only waiting for your turn to speak, the conversation falls flat. To keep the other person engaged, your interest needs to be genuine. How to show you care. Ask follow-up questions. Go deeper into what they're saying. You mentioned you're working on a big project. What's the most exciting part about it? That sounds challenging. How are you handling it so far? React with enthusiasm and curiosity. When someone shares something personal or exciting, respond appropriately. Wow, that's amazing. How did you come up with that idea? That sounds like a big accomplishment. How did you feel afterward? Remember, people are drawn to those who make them feel important. Be an active listener. Listening goes beyond hearing words. It's about understanding the emotions, intentions, and meaning behind those words. When you listen actively, the other person feels seen and appreciated. Steps to active listening. Focus fully on the speaker, make eye contact and avoid distractions like your phone or looking around the room. Use verbal affirmations, short phrases like "I see," "that makes sense," or "interesting," show you're following along. Paraphrase or reflect back. This demonstrates that you've processed what they're saying. So what you're saying is, "It sounds like you really enjoy working on that project." Pro tip: listen for opportunities to connect emotionally. If they share something exciting or meaningful, acknowledge it with enthusiasm or empathy. Balance speaking and listening. Great conversations are a two-way street. If you only listen and don't share anything about yourself, the other person might feel like they're being interviewed. On the other hand, talking too much about yourself can make the conversation feel one-sided. The 50-50 rule: aim for a balanced exchange where both of you share and respond equally. Here's how to strike that balance. Respond with stories of your own. If someone shares a personal experience, share one of yours that relates to theirs. "I know what you mean. I had a similar experience when I started my new job." Keep your responses short and relevant. Avoid rambling or shifting the focus entirely to yourself. Quick tip: if you realize you've been talking for a while, pause and ask, "What about you? Have you experienced anything similar?" Use the power of stories. People love stories. A good story can transform a dull conversation into a memorable one. It adds color, emotion, and a personal touch that facts alone can't provide. What makes a good story? Keep it brief but vivid. Use enough detail to make it interesting without dragging it out. Instead of "I had a bad day," try, "This morning, I spilled coffee all over my shirt right before a meeting, but it turned out my boss spilled tea on his tie, so we both laughed about it." Add emotions. People connect with feelings. "I was so nervous before the speech, but when it was over, I felt unstoppable." Make it relatable. Stories that tie into shared experiences resonate more. Learning to work remotely was a challenge at first, but now I love the flexibility. Have you ever worked from home? Practice telling a few short stories about interesting or funny things that have happened to you. When the moment is right, they'll naturally add value to the conversation. Find common ground. The fastest way to make a conversation engaging is to discover shared interests, experiences, or goals. People bond over similarities, and this connection can turn a brief exchange into a longer, more meaningful conversation. How to find common ground. Ask questions that reveal shared experiences. Do you enjoy traveling? Where's your favorite place you visited? Have you always lived here, or did you move recently? Pay attention to small clues. Look for hints in their words, tone, or body language that you can relate to. Share your own interests naturally. If they mention something you enjoy, let them know. You like hiking? That's amazing. I try to get out into nature whenever I can. Exercise. Think of 3 to 5 topics you enjoy discussing: travel, books, sports, hobbies, etc. Keep these in mind as go-to conversation starters when looking for common ground. Use the person's name. Using someone's name during a conversation is a simple but powerful way to make them feel special. It signals that you're paying attention and creates a sense of connection. How to use names effectively. Use their name naturally during the conversation. That's a great point, Sarah. So, Michael, what do you think about that? Avoid overusing it. Mentioning their name a couple of times is enough. If you forget someone's name, don't panic. Simply say, "I'm so sorry, could you remind me of your name again?" Most people will appreciate your honesty. Add positivity to the conversation. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel good. By bringing positive energy to your conversations, you make them memorable for all the right reasons. Here's how to add positivity. Smile genuinely. A warm smile can instantly brighten the mood. Share positive observations. Compliment something you admire about the other person. You have a great way of explaining things. It's really easy to understand. Talk about uplifting topics. Avoid gossip, complaints, or overly negative subjects. Instead, focus on shared excitement or achievements. Small positivity hack. Leave every conversation with a kind note. It was great talking to you. I hope we can chat again soon. Practice engaging conversations regularly. Like any skill, making conversations engaging improves with practice. Don't expect perfection at first. Start small, notice what works, and keep improving. Practical challenge. This week, focus on using follow-up questions and sharing short, engaging stories during your conversations. Notice how people respond when you add genuine interest and energy. Turning conversations into relationships. Great conversations are the gateway to building lasting relationships, whether personal or professional. A single conversation can spark a meaningful connection, but nurturing that connection requires effort, intention, and consistency. In this chapter, we'll explore practical strategies to ensure that the conversations you start evolve into real, lasting relationships. Follow up. Don't let the momentum die. The most important step in turning a good conversation into a relationship is what happens afterward. Many people miss opportunities because they never follow up. A follow-up shows that you value the connection and are interested in taking it further. Practical tips for following up. Send a quick message. After meeting someone, reach out within 24 to 48 hours to keep the connection fresh. It was great chatting with you yesterday about topic. I'd love to hear more about it sometime. I really enjoyed our conversation. Let's grab coffee soon if you're free. Share something relevant. If you discussed a specific topic, send a helpful article, video, or recommendation. I remembered you mentioned interest. I thought you'd enjoy this article. It's right up your alley. Be genuine. Your follow-up shouldn't feel forced. Keep it light, simple, and authentic. Pro tip: keep a small note in your phone with names, details, or topics you discussed. This will make your follow-up feel more personal and memorable. Build trust through consistency. Relationships grow through trust, and trust is built through consistency. This means showing up regularly, both physically and emotionally, in someone's life. Ways to build consistency. Be reliable, follow through on your commitments, no matter how small. If you say, "Let's meet next week," be the one to take action and schedule it. Stay in touch, reach out periodically to check in, even if it's just to say hello or ask how someone's doing. "Hey, I was just thinking about our last conversation. How did that meeting go? Hope you're doing well. How's your week been so far?" Celebrate small moments, acknowledge milestones, achievements, or special days. Happy birthday! I hope you're celebrating big today. Congrats on finishing that big project, you must be thrilled. Consistency shows people that they matter to you. Over time, these small efforts create a solid foundation for a lasting relationship. Find opportunities to meet again. One conversation isn't always enough to develop a connection. If you enjoyed speaking with someone, find opportunities to meet again and deepen the relationship. How to create opportunities. Invite them to a low-pressure event or activity. A few of us are grabbing coffee this weekend, feel free to join us. There's a great book club I'm part of. You might really enjoy it, want to check it out? Suggest continuing a topic of interest. I loved hearing your take on topic. Let's grab lunch and talk more about it sometime. Follow up on a shared interest. I know you're into hiking, there's an awesome trail nearby I'm planning to check out. Want to join? By taking initiative and offering genuine invitations, you give the relationship room to grow naturally. Be generous, give more than you take. People naturally connect with those who add value to their lives. By being generous with your time, energy, and resources, you show others that you care about their well-being. How to be generous in relationships. Offer help or support. If someone mentions a challenge, offer a thoughtful solution or suggestion. I know someone who could help with that. Would you like me to connect you? Share opportunities. If you come across a job posting, event, or resource that aligns with their interests, pass it along. Give compliments. Sincere praise leaves a lasting impression. You've got a real talent for explaining things clearly. I always learn so much from our conversations. Generosity creates a natural bond. People appreciate and remember those who go out of their way to help. Deepen the connection with meaningful conversations. While small talk is great for breaking the ice, deeper conversations strengthen relationships. Meaningful conversations allow you to connect on an emotional level. How to go deeper in conversations. Ask open-ended questions. Encourage them to share their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. What's been the highlight of your year so far? What's something you're passionate about but don't get to talk about often? Share something personal. Vulnerability invites connection. By sharing a bit about yourself, you make it easier for the other person to open up. I used to struggle with that too, but I learned a lot from the experience. Discuss dreams, goals, and values. People love talking about what matters most to them. What's a goal you're working toward right now? What inspires you the most in life? Important note, don't force deep conversations. Let them unfold naturally as trust grows. Stay present and avoid distractions. When you're with someone, give them your full attention. Being fully present shows respect and strengthens your connection. How to stay present. Put your phone away. Checking your phone sends the message that the person isn't your priority. Make eye contact. This creates a sense of connection and shows you're engaged. Listen without planning your response. Focus on what they're saying instead of waiting for your turn to speak. When people feel heard and valued, they're more likely to seek out your company in the future. Be patient. Relationships take time. Strong relationships aren't built overnight. They require time, consistency, and mutual effort. Don't rush the process or get discouraged if a connection doesn't deepen immediately. Key reminders. Focus on quality over quantity. It's better to build a few meaningful relationships than to have many shallow ones. Be patient with the pace of connection. Some people open up quickly, while others take longer to trust. Stay authentic. The best relationships are built on genuine connection, not forced interactions. Every great relationship starts with a single step. Keep showing up, being kind, and putting in the effort, and the connection will grow naturally. Mastering difficult conversations. Not all conversations are smooth and easy. In fact, some of the most important discussions we have are the difficult ones, whether it's addressing a misunderstanding, sharing critical feedback, or dealing with a disagreement. Mastering these conversations will not only save relationships but also help them grow stronger. In this chapter, we'll break down how to approach difficult conversations with confidence, calm, and clarity. Change your mindset about conflict. Most people avoid difficult conversations because they fear conflict. However, conflict itself isn't always bad. When handled correctly, it can lead to understanding, problem solving, and deeper trust. Shift your perspective. View difficult conversations as opportunities to improve relationships, not threats. Understand that addressing issues directly prevents resentment from building up. Believe that conflict, when approached calmly, can lead to growth. Key reminder: avoidance often makes the problem bigger, not smaller. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to address the issue. Prepare before you speak. Before jumping into a difficult conversation, preparation is key. Knowing what you want to say, how you'll say it, and what outcome you hope for will make the conversation smoother. Steps to prepare. Clarify your goal. What do you hope to achieve? Example: I want to resolve a misunderstanding, or I need to give constructive feedback. Write down the main points. If the conversation makes you nervous, note down the key points you want to address. This keeps you focused. Anticipate reactions. Think about how the other person might feel and how you'll respond calmly. Manage your emotions. If you're feeling angry or upset, take time to cool down before you start the conversation. Example preparation. I feel like there's been a misunderstanding between us, and I want to clear it up. My goal is for us to understand each other better, not to blame anyone. Start with empathy and respect. How you start a difficult conversation sets the tone for everything that follows. A respectful, calm approach will lower defensiveness and make it easier to find common ground. Tips for a positive start. Use I statements to express how you feel without blaming the other person. Example: I feel concerned about how this situation played out instead of you always mess things up. Acknowledge the other person's perspective. I know this might be a tough topic to discuss, but I really value our relationship, and I think it's important we talk about it. Be calm and open. Avoid starting with accusations, sarcasm, or raised voices. Example opener. I've been feeling like we're not on the same page lately, and I really want to talk about it so we can understand each other better. Listen actively, don't just speak. Difficult conversations require as much listening as speaking. By listening carefully, you show respect for the other person's perspective and create space for real understanding. How to listen actively. Focus completely on the other person. Don't interrupt, judge, or plan your response while they're speaking. Repeat back what you hear. This shows you're listening and helps clarify any misunderstandings. What I'm hearing is that you felt frustrated when I didn't respond quickly. Is that right? Ask clarifying questions. If something isn't clear, ask for more details. Can you help me understand why that felt so upsetting? Key reminder: people are more likely to hear you when they feel heard first. Speak calmly and clearly. Once you've listened, it's your turn to share your thoughts. Speak calmly, avoid emotional outbursts, and focus on finding a solution, not blaming. Guidelines for clear communication. Stick to facts, not assumptions. I noticed you missed our meeting yesterday, instead of "you don't care about this project." Express your feelings honestly and respectfully. When I didn't hear back from you, I felt frustrated because I wasn't sure what was happening. Avoid generalizations. Words like always and never put people on the defensive. Bad, you always ignore me. Better, yesterday, I felt ignored when you didn't respond. Focus on solutions, not blame. The goal of any difficult conversation is to move forward, not to assign blame. Once you've shared your thoughts and listened to the other person, focus on how you can solve the problem together. How to find solutions together. Ask collaborative questions. What do you think we can do to fix this? How can we make sure this doesn't happen again? Be willing to compromise. Understand that both sides may need to give a little. Set clear agreements. End the conversation with an understanding of what happens next. So moving forward, we'll make sure to check in with each other every Friday. Does that work for you? Example. I understand your point, and I think we can both do better. How about we agree to communicate more clearly when plans change? Stay calm even when things get heated. Not every difficult conversation will go perfectly. Sometimes emotions run high, and that's okay. Your job is to stay calm and centered no matter how the other person reacts. How to stay calm? Take deep breaths. If you feel anger rising, pause and breathe before responding. Take a break if needed. If the conversation is spiraling, suggest coming back to it after some time. I think we're both upset right now. Can we take a break and talk about this later? Focus on the bigger picture. Remember, the goal isn't to win the argument, but to strengthen the relationship. End on a positive note. Whenever possible, close a difficult conversation with positivity and appreciation. Even if the discussion was uncomfortable, ending on a good note leaves the door open for progress. Ways to end positively. Thank the person for being open and willing to talk. I really appreciate you sharing your perspective with me. Reinforce your commitment to the relationship. I care about our relationship, and I'm glad we talked this through. Acknowledge progress. I feel like we understand each other better now. Let's keep working on this together. Final thought: difficult conversations are a skill, not a talent. The more you practice approaching these discussions with calm, respect, and clarity, the better you'll become at handling them. Relationships grow stronger when people can address issues openly and honestly. Adapting their communication style. One of the most powerful skills in communication is the ability to adapt your style to match the person you're speaking with. Not everyone thinks, processes, or speaks the same way, and that's okay. By learning to adjust, you can connect with anyone, regardless of their personality, background, or communication preferences. In this chapter, we'll explore how to identify different communication styles and adapt your approach for maximum connection and understanding. Understanding communication styles. People tend to communicate in different ways. While there are many models for communication styles, we'll focus on 4 general types: direct, analytical, expressive, and supportive. Direct communicators. They value results, clarity, and efficiency. Traits: assertive, to the point, and focused on action. Example: just tell me what needs to be done and by when. Analytical communicators. They value data, structure, and careful thinking. Traits: logical, detail-oriented, and methodical. Example: I need more details before making a decision. Expressive communicators. They value connection, energy, and creativity. Traits: enthusiastic, emotional, and big-picture focused. Example: let's brainstorm ideas and see what works. Supportive communicators. They value relationships, empathy, and harmony. Traits: patient, understanding, and cooperative. Example: how does everyone feel about this? Exercise: think about people you know, friends, colleagues, or family members. Which of these styles do they most resemble? Understanding their style is the first step to adapting yours. Matching the style of others. The key to effective communication is meeting people where they are. Here's how you can adapt to each style. Adapting to direct communicators. Be concise and clear, avoid unnecessary small talk and get to the point. Focus on results, highlight the outcomes and benefits of your ideas. Stay confident, direct communicators respect confidence, not hesitation. Example: instead of, I was thinking we could maybe try this new idea, but I'm not sure. Say, let's implement this strategy because it will improve results by 20%. Adapting to analytical communicators. Provide details and facts. Analytical types need evidence, logic, and structure. Be patient. Give them time to process information before making decisions. Stay organized. Present information in a structured, clear manner. Example: instead of, I have a gut feeling this will work. Say, based on the data, this method has a 90% success rate. Here's a step-by-step plan. Adapting to expressive communicators. Be enthusiastic and positive, match their energy and excitement. Focus on the big picture, don't overwhelm them with too many details. Encourage brainstorming, let them explore creative ideas without judgment. Example: instead of, we need to stick to this exact plan. Say, Let's think creatively about how we can make this work. What ideas do you have? Adapting to supportive communicators. Build trust, show empathy and focus on the relationship. Be patient and gentle, avoid being overly aggressive or pushy. Encourage input, ask for their thoughts and make them feel valued. Example. Instead of, "We have to do this now," no questions asked. Say, "I'd really like to hear your thoughts. What do you think is the best way forward?" Recognizing your own communication style. While adapting to others is important, understanding your own style is just as crucial. Do you lean toward being direct, analytical, expressive, or supportive? Ask yourself, do I focus more on results, direct, or relationships, supportive? Do I value facts and logic, analytical, or creativity and energy, expressive? Exercise. Take a moment to reflect. Write down which style you use most often and think about how that might influence your conversations. Example self-reflection. I tend to be very direct and get frustrated when others focus too much on small talk. I need to work on being more patient and understanding with supportive communicators. Adjusting to situational needs. Sometimes, the situation itself demands a certain style of communication. For example, crisis or urgent situations, a direct style works best. Focus on clear instructions and action. We need to fix this now. Here's the plan. Problem-solving meetings, an analytical approach is ideal. Break things down step by step. Let's analyze the data and consider all options. Team building events, an expressive or supportive style encourages connection. Let's brainstorm ideas and work together to make this fun. Being flexible and reading the room will help you communicate more effectively in any situation. Developing adaptability. Adapting your communication style takes practice, but the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. Here are some tips to develop this skill. Observe and listen. Pay attention to how others communicate, what excites them, what frustrates them, and what makes them respond positively. Ask questions. If you're unsure of someone's style, ask for their preferences. For example, would you like me to explain this in detail, or just give you the highlights? Practice empathy. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. How would you like to be communicated with in their position? Get feedback. After important conversations, ask for feedback on your approach. Did I explain that clearly? Is there anything I could do better next time? Building stronger connections. When you adapt your communication style, you show others that you care about connecting with them. This builds trust, improves understanding, and makes your conversations more productive. Key reminder, the goal is not to change who you are, but to adjust how you communicate to create stronger connections. Final thought, people communicate differently, but with a little effort and flexibility, you can connect with anyone. By learning to recognize styles and adapt your approach, you'll unlock the ability to build meaningful relationships and communicate more effectively in any situation. The power of asking the right questions. Asking questions is one of the most overlooked yet powerful tools in effective communication. The right question can open doors, build trust, reveal hidden truths, and foster deep connections. Whether you're having a casual chat, leading a business meeting, or navigating a conflict, learning how to ask insightful questions is a skill that will transform your communication. In this chapter, we'll explore the types of questions, when to use them, and practical techniques for becoming a master questioner. Why questions matter. At their core, questions serve three purposes. They show interest. People love talking about themselves when someone is genuinely curious. They clarify information. Questions help avoid misunderstandings and uncover the full picture. They encourage thinking. Good questions can challenge assumptions, inspire ideas, and lead to better solutions. Example. Instead of saying, "Tell me about your project," you could ask, "What inspired you to take on this project, and what's been the most rewarding part so far?" This shifts a generic question into one that invites reflection and reveals deeper answers. Open-ended versus closed-ended questions. Understanding the difference between open-ended and closed-ended questions is key to controlling the flow and depth of a conversation. Closed-ended questions. These can be answered with a simple yes, no, or short response. Use them when you need quick, specific information or to confirm details. Examples. Did you finish the report? Is everything okay? While closed-ended questions are useful, overusing them can make conversations feel robotic or one-sided. Open-ended questions. These invite longer, more thoughtful responses. Use them to encourage discussion, gain insights, and build deeper connections. Examples. What are your thoughts on this idea? How did that experience shape you? Exercise. Think of someone you've been meaning to have a better conversation with, maybe a colleague, a friend, or a family member. Write down 3 open-ended questions you could ask them to learn something new. The art of follow-up questions. Great communicators don't just stop at the first answer, they dig deeper. Follow-up questions show you're truly listening and encourage the other person to open up even more. Examples of follow-up questions. That's interesting. Could you tell me more about that? What did you mean when you said? How did that make you feel? Tip: pay attention to keywords or emotions in someone's response, and use those as cues for your follow-up questions. Example. I've been feeling pretty overwhelmed at work lately. I'm sorry to hear that. What's been the most challenging part for you? This not only encourages them to share more, but also builds trust and empathy. Questions that spark deeper conversations. To take your conversations to the next level, use questions that encourage self-reflection, storytelling, and connection. Reflection questions. What's something you're really proud of lately? If you could change one thing about this situation, what would it be? Storytelling questions. What's the most important lesson you've learned in the past year? Can you share a time when you faced a challenge and overcame it? Connection questions. What's something you're really passionate about right now? What's one experience that shaped who you are today? These questions go beyond small talk and encourage meaningful, memorable conversations. Avoiding why too soon. While why questions are important, they can sometimes feel confrontational or judgmental, especially if used too early in a conversation. Example. Instead of asking, "Why did you do it that way?" which might sound critical, say, I'd love to understand your thought process. How did you come to that decision? Framing questions more thoughtfully ensures you maintain trust and openness. Using questions to resolve conflicts. Asking the right questions can also help diffuse conflicts and find common ground. Examples of conflict-resolving questions. What's really important to you in this situation? How can we work together to find a solution that works for both of us? What would you need to feel more comfortable with this outcome? These questions shift the focus from blame to collaboration, creating space for understanding and resolution. Questions for self-reflection. Asking questions isn't just about others, it's also a powerful tool for self-discovery. By asking yourself the right questions, you can gain clarity, set better goals, and understand your own feelings and motivations. Examples. What's holding me back right now, and what can I do about it? Am I listening to others, or just waiting for my turn to speak? What's one thing I can improve in how I communicate with others? Take time to reflect on these questions regularly, and you'll notice positive changes in both your communication and your personal growth. Practicing the right questions. Here's a simple exercise to put everything into practice. Pick a conversation partner. It could be a friend, colleague, or family member. Set an intention. Decide what you want to achieve from the conversation. Learn something new. Build connection. Help them solve a problem. Plan your questions. Start with a mix of open-ended and follow-up questions. Listen actively. Pay attention, ask follow-ups, and focus on understanding rather than responding. Example conversation starter. What's been the highlight of your week so far? Questions as a habit. Asking the right questions doesn't come naturally to everyone, it's a skill you develop with practice. Challenge yourself to ask more thoughtful questions every day, whether it's in a meeting, over coffee with a friend, or during dinner with family. Remember, be curious. Genuine curiosity makes your questions more powerful. Be patient. Give people time to answer thoughtfully. Be open. Sometimes, the best answers come from the most unexpected places. Listening beyond words. We often think of communication as something we do with our mouths, but the truth is that listening plays an equally vital role. Listening is not just about hearing words, it's about understanding, interpreting, and responding thoughtfully. Effective communication relies on your ability to listen beyond the surface level, to pick up on both verbal and nonverbal cues, and to show that you are genuinely engaged in the conversation. The importance of active listening. Active listening is the foundation of effective communication. It means fully focusing on the speaker, understanding their message, responding thoughtfully, and remembering key details. Active listening helps you grasp the speaker's intent and ensures that you respond appropriately, fostering trust and understanding. Why active listening matters. Build stronger relationships. When people feel heard, they feel valued, which strengthens bonds. Prevents misunderstandings. Active listening helps you catch the nuances of what's being said, avoiding misinterpretations. Encourages openness. When you listen attentively, others are more likely to open up and share more. Example. Imagine you're having a conversation with a colleague, and they mention they're feeling stressed about an upcoming deadline. Instead of immediately offering advice or sharing your own experience, active listening means pausing, nodding, and acknowledging their feelings. You could respond with something like, "That sounds like a lot to handle." How do you usually manage those kinds of situations? This not only shows empathy but encourages a deeper, more meaningful conversation. The 3 key elements of active listening. Active listening involves more than just hearing words. It requires attention to 3 key elements. Focus. Give your full attention. Put away distractions like your phone or computer, and make eye contact with the speaker. Use body language. Nod, smile, and lean slightly forward to show that you're engaged. Interpret. Pay attention to tone and emotion. Words can have different meanings depending on the tone in which they're said. Observe body language. A person's posture, facial expressions, and gestures often tell you more than words alone. Respond. Acknowledge. Use verbal cues like "I see" or "that makes sense" to show you're following the conversation. Ask follow-up questions. These show you're not only listening but also interested in understanding more deeply. Barriers to effective listening. Even when we want to listen well, several barriers can interfere with our ability to truly hear and understand others. Distractions. It's easy to get distracted by external factors like background noise or internal factors like wandering thoughts. These distractions can cause us to miss important information or misinterpret what's being said. Tip: if you find your attention drifting, gently refocus by consciously reminding yourself to stay present in the moment. You could also paraphrase what's been said to confirm your understanding. Prejudging the message. We often form judgments about what the speaker is saying before they finish. This can cloud our ability to listen objectively and fully. Tip: practice suspending judgment until the person has finished speaking. Focus on understanding their point of view without jumping to conclusions. Emotional barriers. If a conversation triggers strong emotions, whether it's anger, frustration, or excitement, it can be difficult to listen effectively. Tip: if you feel emotional, take a deep breath and calm yourself before responding. Focus on staying calm and open to the speaker's perspective. The role of empathy in listening. Empathy is one of the most powerful tools in communication. It's the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. When you listen with empathy, you go beyond just hearing the words. You tune into the speaker's emotions and connect with their experience. Why empathy matters. Builds rapport and trust. Empathetic listening shows that you care about the speaker's feelings, not just their words. Fosters a deeper connection. Empathy allows you to relate to others on a human level, creating a bond that words alone cannot form. Encourages problem solving. When you listen with empathy, you can help identify solutions that truly address the speaker's needs or concerns. Example: if a friend is venting about a difficult situation at work, instead of just offering solutions, you might say, "I can see how frustrating that must be. It sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed and unsure of what to do next. How can I help?" This response validates their feelings, creating space for them to express themselves more fully while also offering your support. Reflective listening. Reflective listening is a technique that involves repeating back what the speaker has said in your own words. It shows that you've heard them and encourages clarity. How to use reflective listening. Paraphrase. Restate the speaker's words without changing the meaning. So, what I'm hearing is that you feel overworked and need help with your tasks. Ask for clarification. If something is unclear, ask them to elaborate. Can you explain what you meant by feeling stuck? Reflective listening not only helps you understand, but also shows the speaker that their message is important to you. The power of silence. Sometimes, the most powerful way to listen is by simply allowing silence to do the work. After someone shares something important, don't rush to fill the silence with words. Let them take the time to gather their thoughts, or let the silence offer space for reflection. Why silence works. It shows patience. People appreciate when you give them space to express themselves fully. It encourages deeper thinking. Silence allows the speaker to explore their thoughts and feelings without interruption. It fosters connection. A shared moment of silence can be incredibly powerful in creating a sense of understanding. Improving your listening skills. To become a better listener, you must practice regularly. Here are a few exercises to help you develop your listening skills. Exercise 1. In your next conversation, focus on removing all distractions. Turn off your phone, close your laptop, and give the speaker your undivided attention. After the conversation, reflect on how it felt to truly listen. Exercise 2. When someone shares something with you, practice reflective listening. After they finish speaking, repeat what they said in your own words and ask if you understood correctly. Exercise 3. Set a goal to ask one follow-up question in every conversation. This shows that you're actively engaged and interested in hearing more. The ultimate goal, connecting, not just communicating. The ultimate goal of listening isn't simply to hear what someone is saying, it's to connect with them on a deeper level. When you listen actively, with empathy and attention, you create an environment where both parties feel heard and understood. This connection forms the foundation for all meaningful communication. Adapting your communication to different situations. In the world of communication, no two conversations are exactly the same. Whether you're speaking with a close friend, giving a presentation at work, or having a difficult conversation with a colleague, the way you communicate should adapt to suit the situation. The key to effective communication is understanding the context, adjusting your approach, and choosing the right communication style for each scenario. In this chapter, we'll explore how to tailor your communication based on various settings and individuals. We'll look at how you can adjust your tone, body language, and message to be more effective, and offer practical strategies for improving communication in any environment. Understanding the context, why situational awareness matters. Before you engage in any conversation, it's important to take a moment to assess the situation. What is the purpose of this conversation? Who is involved? What is the atmosphere? These factors can influence the tone, style, and content of your communication. Key considerations for context. Purpose. Are you simply having a casual chat, or are you trying to persuade someone, give feedback, or solve a problem? Understanding your goal will help shape your message. Audience. the person or people you're communicating with will influence the way you speak. Are they a colleague, a superior, a friend, or a stranger? Tailoring your approach to your audience's needs is crucial. Setting: is it a one-on-one conversation in a quiet office, a group discussion in a meeting room, or a public speech? The setting will influence whether you should be formal or informal, whether you need to speak louder, or whether you should adjust your body language. Example: when speaking to a supervisor, you may adopt a more formal tone and structure your sentences to convey respect and professionalism. However, when talking to a close friend, the conversation can be more casual and informal, allowing you to be more expressive and relaxed. Adjusting your tone for different situations. Your tone of voice plays a huge role in how your message is received. It conveys emotions, adds emphasis, and can even change the meaning of your words. To communicate effectively, you need to adjust your tone depending on the situation. Types of tone and when to use them. Friendly and warm. Use this tone in casual, informal situations, such as when talking to friends, family, or colleagues you have a comfortable relationship with. A warm tone helps build rapport and trust. Example: "Hey, it's great to see you. How's everything going?" Confident and assertive. In professional settings, particularly when you need to express your opinion or make decisions, a confident tone shows that you're in control and sure of your stance. Example: "I'm confident this approach will deliver results. Here's why." Empathetic and supportive. When you're talking to someone who is upset, going through a tough time, or needs advice, an empathetic tone is necessary. It shows that you understand their emotions and are there to support them. Example: "I'm really sorry you're going through this. How can I help?" Neutral and professional. In formal work environments or when discussing serious topics, a neutral, professional tone conveys respect and clarity. This tone avoids unnecessary emotional inflection, keeping the focus on the message. Example: "I'd like to discuss the next steps for this project and see how we can move forward." How to adjust your tone. Pay attention to your emotions. If you're feeling frustrated, it's easy for that to come through in your tone. Take a deep breath before responding, especially in sensitive situations. Match your tone to your message. If you're delivering bad news, you may want to soften your tone to make it easier for the other person to process. Be aware of the listener's needs. If someone is feeling anxious or upset, they may appreciate a soothing and reassuring tone more than a straightforward, matter-of-fact one. Tailoring your body language. Nonverbal communication, your body language, often speaks louder than words. Whether you realize it or not, your posture, facial expressions, and gestures all communicate something to the people around you. To ensure that your message is effective, your body language should align with your words. Key body language tips. Eye contact. Eye contact is one of the most powerful ways to communicate. In formal situations, maintaining eye contact shows confidence, while in casual settings, it can help establish trust and empathy. However, avoid staring, as this can come across as aggressive. Posture. A slouched posture can suggest disinterest or insecurity, while standing or sitting up straight conveys confidence and engagement. Adjust your posture based on the conversation's tone. For example, when giving a presentation, standing tall can help assert your authority. Gestures. Gestures can enhance your message, but be careful not to overdo it. A well-placed hand movement can emphasize a point, but excessive gestures can distract from your words. Use gestures to reinforce your message, not overshadow it. Facial expressions. Your face reveals a lot about your feelings. A smile can make someone feel welcomed and comfortable, while a furrowed brow might indicate confusion or disapproval. Be conscious of your facial expressions, ensuring they match the message you want to convey. Communicating in high-stakes situations. In high-pressure scenarios, such as job interviews, performance reviews, or difficult negotiations, your communication style needs to be particularly strategic. The stakes are higher, and how you manage these conversations can significantly impact your outcomes. Tips for communicating in high-stakes situations. Stay calm and collected. In tense situations, it's easy to become flustered. However, maintaining composure will help you think clearly and respond effectively. Deep breathing or pausing before speaking can help center your thoughts. Be clear and concise. In high-stakes conversations, there's little room for ambiguity. Stick to the point and avoid rambling. Practice making your message clear and direct, and avoid unnecessary details. Use empathy to build rapport. Whether you're negotiating a deal or discussing a sensitive issue, understanding the other person's point of view can help you find common ground. Use empathy to connect and to show you're working toward a mutually beneficial solution. Be prepared. In any high-stakes conversation, preparation is key. Know your main points, anticipate potential objections, and have a plan for how to address them. Adapting your communication in a group setting. In group discussions or meetings, communication dynamics change. You're not only trying to convey your message but also need to engage multiple people, manage different perspectives, and ensure that everyone's voice is heard. Group communication strategies. Encourage participation. In group settings, encourage everyone to contribute. Ask open-ended questions to involve others and keep the conversation moving. Be mindful of dominating the conversation. If you're naturally a strong communicator, you may tend to dominate the conversation. Be mindful to give others space to share their thoughts and perspectives. Keep an eye on group dynamics. Pay attention to how people interact. If someone is withdrawing or not participating, gently encourage them to share. If tensions rise, use calming strategies to bring the focus back to the issue at hand. Communicating across cultures. In our increasingly global world, communication often occurs across different cultures. Cultural norms, values, and expectations can significantly impact how your message is received. Being aware of these differences can help you communicate more effectively and avoid misunderstandings. Key cultural considerations. Tone and formality. In some cultures, formal language is preferred, while in others, a more casual tone is acceptable. Make sure you understand the level of formality expected in the situation. Nonverbal cues. Gestures, body language, and even the amount of eye contact expected can vary greatly between cultures. Research or ask about cultural norms before entering cross-cultural conversations. Indirect versus direct communication. Some cultures value indirect communication, where people hint at their meaning, while others prefer directness and clarity. Being able to navigate these differences can help you avoid misunderstandings. Becoming a master of adaptation. To communicate effectively in any situation, you must be flexible and adaptable. The more you practice adjusting your style and approach to the context, audience, and setting, the more skilled you'll become at making your message resonate. Start by paying attention to your past conversations and considering how you could adjust your communication approach in different settings. With practice, you'll naturally adapt to any conversation, whether it's a casual chat with a friend or a crucial business negotiation. The power of active listening in communication. Effective communication is a two-way street, and while speaking is essential, listening is just as, if not more, important. Without active listening, you risk misunderstanding others, missing key details, or failing to establish the rapport needed for a successful interaction. In this final chapter, we'll explore the art of active listening, its importance in communication, and practical strategies for improving your listening skills. What is active listening? Active listening is more than just hearing words. It's about fully understanding, interpreting, and responding thoughtfully to what the other person is saying. It requires focus, engagement, and the intent to comprehend not only the words being spoken but also the emotions, intentions, and body language behind those words. Why active listening is crucial. Improves understanding. Active listening ensures you're truly absorbing the message being conveyed, rather than simply waiting for your turn to speak. Builds trust and rapport. People feel heard and valued when you listen attentively. This strengthens relationships and encourages open communication. Reduces misunderstandings. By focusing on the speaker and asking clarifying questions, you reduce the risk of miscommunication and ensure that everyone is on the same page. Enhances problem solving. In conflict or problem-solving situations, listening helps you identify the underlying issues and reach solutions more effectively. The core components of active listening. Active listening involves several key elements that, when practiced together, lead to better communication and stronger relationships. Here are the core components. Paying full attention. Give the speaker your undivided attention. This means putting away distractions such as your phone, computer, or television. Show that you're listening through body language. Maintain eye contact, nod, and lean slightly forward to demonstrate interest. Showing that you're listening. It's not enough to just hear the words. You must show that you're engaged. Use verbal cues like "I see," "go on," or interesting to signal that you're actively involved in the conversation. Nodding or smiling can also indicate you're paying attention. Providing feedback. Feedback involves paraphrasing or summarizing what the other person has said to confirm your understanding. This shows that you've been listening carefully and allows the speaker to correct any misunderstandings. Example. Speaker: I feel overwhelmed with my workload lately. You: it sounds like you're dealing with a lot of stress from your workload. What's been the most challenging part? Deferring judgment. Active listening means withholding judgment until the speaker has finished their message. Avoid interrupting or jumping to conclusions. Give the speaker the space to share their thoughts fully before formulating your response. Responding appropriately. Once the speaker has finished, offer your response. It should be thoughtful, respectful, and relevant to what they've shared. Your response should reflect the time and attention you've given to their words. Overcoming common listening barriers. Listening sounds simple, but it's not always easy. Several common barriers can interfere with our ability to listen actively. Distractions. External distractions like noise or interruptions can make it hard to focus on the conversation. Minimize distractions by moving to a quieter environment or politely asking the speaker to repeat themselves if necessary. Prejudging. Sometimes, we stop listening as soon as we think we know what the speaker is going to say. We might think, "I already know this," or "this is boring." Such biases prevent us from truly engaging. Approach each conversation with an open mind, and avoid assuming you know the outcome. Emotional reactivity. If you're feeling defensive or triggered by what the other person is saying, it can be difficult to listen objectively. Practice self-regulation techniques, like deep breathing, to calm your emotions before responding. Mental fatigue. Sometimes, we simply don't have the energy to listen actively. If you're tired, it's okay to let the speaker know that you're having difficulty concentrating and suggest continuing the conversation later when you can give it your full attention. Techniques for improving active listening. Here are some practical techniques you can use to enhance your active listening skills. Ask open-ended questions. When you ask questions that encourage elaboration, you show interest and give the speaker the opportunity to share more. Instead of asking yes/no questions, try asking, "How did that make you feel?" or "What happened next?" Paraphrase and reflect. Repeating back what the speaker has said in your own words helps confirm understanding. For example, Speaker, "I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed at work." You, "It sounds like you have a lot on your plate right now. What's been the toughest part?" Practice empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. When someone is expressing emotions, respond with empathy to show that you understand their emotional state. For example, "That must be really difficult," or "I can see why you'd feel frustrated." Use silence wisely. Silence can be a powerful listening tool. After the speaker finishes, give them a moment to collect their thoughts before you respond. This shows that you're reflecting on what they've said, and it can often lead to deeper insights. Mind your body language. As with speaking, nonverbal communication is crucial. Avoid crossing your arms, looking at your phone, or staring off into space. Instead, use open gestures, eye contact, and appropriate facial expressions to show engagement. Active listening in different settings. The principles of active listening apply in every situation, but how you use them might differ based on the context. In personal conversations. Active listening in personal conversations helps build deeper, more meaningful connections. It shows that you care about the other person's thoughts and emotions. Make sure to give your full attention and respond with empathy. In professional settings. In the workplace, active listening is essential for collaboration, feedback, and problem solving. It shows respect for colleagues' ideas and helps avoid misunderstandings. In meetings, practice summarizing others' points to ensure clarity and keep discussions on track. In conflict resolution. Active listening is key when resolving conflicts. It allows both sides to feel heard and understood, which is often the first step in finding common ground. By actively listening, you demonstrate a willingness to collaborate toward a solution rather than defending your own viewpoint. The benefits of active listening. Improving your active listening skills can have a profound impact on your relationships, both personal and professional. Here are just a few benefits of becoming a better listener. Stronger relationships. When you truly listen, you strengthen your bonds with others. People feel valued when they know you're paying attention and considering their perspective. Increased trust. Active listening builds trust. People are more likely to open up when they feel that their thoughts and feelings are being acknowledged. Better problem solving. By understanding all perspectives, you can contribute to more creative and effective solutions, whether in the workplace or at home. Improved conflict resolution. Listening actively allows you to address underlying issues and find common ground, leading to quicker and more harmonious resolutions. Continuously improving your listening skills. Active listening is a skill that requires constant practice and awareness. The more you commit to improving your listening abilities, the better you'll become. Here are a few ways to keep improving. Seek feedback. Ask trusted friends or colleagues for feedback on how well you listen. Are there moments when you could improve? Practice mindfulness. Engaging in mindfulness exercises can help improve your focus and presence, which are essential for active listening. Keep practicing. Like any skill, active listening improves the more you practice. Make an effort to engage fully in each conversation and apply the techniques you've learned in this chapter. By mastering active listening, you not only become a better communicator but also build stronger, more trusting relationships with the people around you. Communication is a lifelong journey, and by continuously improving your listening and speaking skills, you'll find yourself better equipped to handle any conversation that comes your way.